This from James Pearce said, one of the factors that led to Liverpool turning down the offer from Marseille for Wataru Endo was that they believe there are a lack of suitable, affordable and available number 6s in the market. I'm going to read that out to you again. One of the factors that led to Liverpool Football Club turning down the offer from Marseille for Wataru Endo was that they, i.e. us, the football club, believe there are a lack of suitable, affordable and available number 6s in the market. That's not a made-up quote from me. That's not a fan channel coming out with it. That's a journalist reporting what the journalist is being told. James Pearce isn't a sensationalist. James Pearce isn't going to just write this stuff unless he's been briefed it. It's absolutely unacceptable on every front that this has even been allowed to be unchallenged. You, me and every other Liverpool fan around the world right now are supposed to believe that the holy trinity of availability, suitability and affordability, none of those are available. None. 3 years. 3 years. 3 years looking for a number 6. Chelsea bought 2 in one summer. And we've been 3 years. I said it before, and I'm going to keep saying it until I get through to every last Liverpool fan on the goddamn planet. FSG are cheap. FSG are constantly going to tell us porkies. FSG have no want or desire, in my opinion, to win. But hey, they saved us 12 years ago according to some, so that means we all just sit back and allow this nonsense to be spouted again. But Craig, there's no value in the market. I know, Stevie boy, and here's the funny thing. The market's only going to get more expensive in August because clubs know teams are desperate. Clubs have to find replacements. All the things that I've been warning everybody about all summer, not because I pull this shit out of the air and because I enjoy it, but because I can see it. I can see it clear as day, season after season, window after window, summer after goddamn summer. False dawns, false promises, media spin, and problems at the last minute. Can kick down the road, big promise of a next future window being brilliant, but it never materialises. They're cheap. Coach Bill said Klopp was never the problem with incomings. Over the last week, there's been an absolute change in the tone of replies to our YouTube videos. People used to say, I like you, Craig. I don't mind the channel, bro. Tune in when I can. But drop the FSG stuff. Drop the ranting. There's plenty of time left in the window. Be patient. We were told. And I said to them respectfully, I get you, but I don't have the trust. Over the last week, that tone has changed. More people are starting to question what on earth is going on. Because there's only so many times that you can keep talking about squad assessments, new people in their jobs. None of us would be allowed to saunter into a job in June and be at the end of July and not having done a fucking tap. Because what have they done? They haven't renewed any contracts for the senior players. They haven't brought in anybody. They've sent a couple of kids out on loan. What are we at? Don't talk to us like we're idiots. We are not stupid people. And FSG, time after goddamn time, are pulling this crap. And do you know what you haven't heard me say once? Not once this summer. Check back, watch every video you want. You have not heard me say the phrase FSG out once. Because I've leant back. I've tried to be a little bit more measured. I've tried to be a little bit more reasonable. But I knew it was going to come. I knew we weren't going to get what we were promised. I got very worried last night when I seen the Friendrup links. Not because I didn't know if he was good enough or not, but because, yet again, let me paint you a picture, just for argument's sake. Manchester United right now are looking at Old Trafford. They're looking at the options of what to do with Old Trafford. Do they rebuild on the current site? Do they do it in stages? Or do they move to a new site that's already owned by the club, similarly, and build a fantastic new stadium, 100,000 seater, that's going to cost about 2 billion quid? they're edging to that. Now, cast your minds back to when FSG came to the football club. Think about this. Hear me out. We were told that they were weighing up the options of whether to extend Anfield in stages or move to a shiny new stadium somewhere else, maybe even Stanley Park. What option did they go for? They went for the one that they pitched to you as heritage. The one they pitched to you as keeping in our spiritual home. But there's one little factor here. It was also the cheaper option. And they spun it so they made it sound like we listened. John listened. And then John decided that we were going to stay put and do the cheap option. Now, when it comes to players, cheap option. Every single time they do the cheap option. And yet every single time people buy into it. Same in Boston. They go over to Fenway Park. It's a kip. And they still do it up. They don't knock it down and rebuild it. It's an absolute dump. And they still can't be arsed redoing the stadium properly or rebuilding it. They take the cheap option every goddamn time. And it isn't an accident. Stop giving them the benefit of the doubt. You can credit them for putting good people in positions and all the other stupid shit. But again, I ask you, what happened when we had the option to build a shiny new stadium or the cheaper option? Now, you mightn't agree with me. You might say, Craig, they made the right decision, and I can hear you. I appreciate that. I'm not saying a shiny new stadium was the right decision or the wrong decision. What I'm trying to say is every time that it comes down to a decision where there's one option that's more expensive and one option that's cheap, we know which one we end up with. And it ain't the more expensive one. Nathan Allen said, affordable, but they randomly put a straight up 120 million bid in not too long ago for Sado, and we're being told there's no affordable DM. Don't make me laugh. Mate, we could all name 7 or 8. You know, every single one of us here could put together a list of DMs that we could go out and get that would be an improvement on what we have. But where's the threshold? Where's the bar? Like, the midfielder that they've been searching for 3 years clearly doesn't exist in their minds. So maybe it's time to reevaluate. We've all got that friend. Male or female, doesn't matter. We've all got that friend that is single still. That's holding out for Mr. or Mrs. Perfect. They have standards that are just not realistic. And you know it. You've got that friend. And you know that they're going to probably settle at some point. Because Mr. Perfect or Mrs. Perfect just doesn't exist for them. Our club seem to just have this mythical bullshit of, oh, well, there isn't anybody available. Nobody good enough. But yeah, here we are. No money spent.